The history of boxing is filled with unforgettable figures, and among them are the fighters who defined an era of excellence in the sport. From the gritty, hard-hitting styles of early champions to the flashy, dynamic moves of modern stars, these 8 British and international boxers have left a lasting legacy in the sport. Benny Lynch, Naseem Hamed, Jim Watt, Jimmy Wilde, Lloyd Honeyghan, Randolph Turpin, Don Cockell, and Bob Fitzsimmons are names that resonate deeply in the boxing community. Each one of these champions brought something unique to the ring, shaping the sport for generations to come. Benny Lynch, Scotland's first world champion. Benny Lynch was one of the greatest flyweight boxers in the history of the sport. Born in 1913 in Glasgow, Scotland, Lynch became the first Scottish-born boxer to win a world title when he claimed the Flyweight World Championship in 1935. Known for his ferocity in the ring, technical skills, and ability to outpace his opponents, Lynch was a natural talent who dominated his weight class during the 1930s. His rivalry with fighters like Jackie Brown cemented his status as a boxing legend. Lynch's reign as flyweight champion was marked by thrilling bouts and incredible skill. He defended his title multiple times before his career was tragically cut short due to personal struggles and health issues. His death at just 33 years old robbed the boxing world of a fighter who might have achieved even greater things. Nonetheless, Lynch's impact on boxing remains monumental, especially in Scotland, where he remains a national hero. Benny Lynch remains an icon in the flyweight division and is still remembered as one of the sport's finest technicians. Memorable moment: winning the world flyweight title. Benny Lynch's most memorable moment came in 1935 when he won the World Flyweight Championship. Lynch's victory over Jackie Brown in London was a defining moment in boxing history, as Lynch became the first Scottish-born boxer to claim a world title. Known for his lightning-fast punches and exceptional ring craft, Lynch's triumph captured the imagination of boxing fans worldwide, especially in Scotland, where he became a national hero. His dominance in the flyweight division, which included several successful title defenses, has made him a cherished figure in the sport. Role in British boxing: Lynch's legacy continues to influence British boxing, particularly in the flyweight division. Naseem Hamed, the Prince of Boxing. Naseem Prince Hamed was one of the most flamboyant and entertaining boxers in the history of the sport. Born in 1974 in Sheffield, England, Hamed took the featherweight division by storm in the 1990s. With his unorthodox style, speed, and power, Hamed became a world champion in multiple weight classes. He was known for his brash personality, flashy entrances, and his ability to finish fights with devastating knockouts. Hamed dominated the featherweight division for a decade, holding world titles and making multiple defenses. He was also a key figure in the growth of boxing's popularity in the UK during the 1990s. His reign ended in 2002 after a shock defeat to Marco Antonio Barrera, but his legacy as one of the most charismatic and talented boxers of his era endures. Today, he remains a prominent figure in boxing and sports media, continuing to inspire new generations of fighters. Memorable moment: victory over Marco Antonio Barrera. While Hamed's career was filled with dramatic moments, his 1995 victory over Steve Robinson to win the WBO featherweight title stands out. However, it is his electrifying persona and shocking performance against Marco Antonio Barrera in 2001 that is most remembered. Hamed entered the ring with his trademark eccentricity and bravado, but Barrera, with his technical boxing ability, handed Hamed his first defeat. This loss marked the end of Hamed's reign at the top, but it also became an unforgettable moment in boxing history, as Hamed had been a dominant force before that. His early knockouts, flashy entrances, and undefeated record for so long cemented his place in boxing folklore. Role in British boxing history: Naseem Hamed is often credited with revolutionizing British boxing during the 1990s. His rise to fame brought a new level of excitement and entertainment to the sport. Hamed's flashy, unorthodox style and brash persona made him one of the most marketable fighters in the world, helping to increase boxing's popularity in the UK. His success in winning multiple world titles in the featherweight division, including an iconic victory over Steve Robinson in 1995, showcased his extraordinary talent and put British boxing on the global map. Hamed's ability to attract large crowds and media attention made him one of the sport's true superstars and played a key role in attracting a new generation of fans to boxing. Jim Watt, Scotland's boxing ambassador. Jim Watt, born in 1948 in Glasgow, was one of the UK's most respected boxers of the 1970s. Watt's claim to fame was his victory in 1979 when he captured the WBC lightweight title, a win that made him one of Scotland's most beloved sports figures. Throughout his career, Watt was known for his tactical approach, combining solid fundamentals with the ability to adapt his game plan to different opponents. He successfully defended his title multiple times, defeating notable opponents such as Ken Buchanan and Roberto Duran. Watt retired with an impressive record and is remembered as one of the finest Scottish boxers of his time. Before becoming a world champion, Watt was a hard-working, durable boxer who had to prove himself on the international stage. Memorable moment: winning the WBC lightweight title. Jim Watt's most memorable moment came in 1979 when he defeated Ken Buchanan to win the WBC lightweight championship. Watt's tenacity and tactical boxing helped him overcome the seasoned veteran, solidifying his status as a world champion. His victory in front of a packed crowd in Glasgow not only earned him the title but also endeared him to the Scottish public as one of the country's great sporting figures. He successfully defended the title multiple times and was part of the golden era of British boxing. Role in British boxing history. Jim Watt's victory over Ken Buchanan in 1979 to win the WBC lightweight championship marked a significant achievement for Scottish boxing and British boxing as a whole. Watt became one of the leading lights in British boxing during the 1970s and 1980s. His technical boxing style made him a favorite among purists, and his championship reign helped to inspire the next wave of British boxers. As a respected figure in boxing, Watt also played a crucial role in boxing media, working as a commentator after his retirement and further solidifying his influence on the sport in the UK. Jimmy Wilde, the Mighty Atom. Jimmy Wilde, known as the Mighty Atom, is often regarded as one of the greatest flyweights in boxing history. Born in 1892 in Wales, Wilde became the first flyweight world champion in boxing history. His power and punching ability were remarkable for a man of his small stature. Wilde held the flyweight title from 1916 until 1923 and was renowned for his fast hands and knockout power. His impact on the flyweight division has been immeasurable, and he was one of the most beloved fighters of his time. Wilde's ability to defeat larger opponents, often in dramatic fashion, helped shape the future of the lighter weight divisions in boxing. Before his rise to prominence, Wilde fought in the tough streets of Wales, facing opponents much larger than himself. His career was marked by numerous knockouts, and he retired as one of the most feared boxers in the world. Memorable moment: becoming the first flyweight world champion. Jimmy Wilde's place in boxing history is secured by his incredible knockout power and his achievement of becoming the first flyweight world champion in 1916. Nicknamed the Mighty Atom, Wilde was known for his fearsome punching ability, which was extraordinary for someone of his small size. His victory over reigning world champion Joe Lynch to win the world flyweight title marked the beginning of a reign that made Wilde a boxing legend. His skill and bravery inside the ring have made him a lasting inspiration, particularly in the flyweight division. Role in British boxing history. Jimmy Wilde, known as the Mighty Atom, is one of the earliest and most significant champions in British boxing history. He was the first flyweight world champion and held the title from 1916 to 1923. Wilde's impact was not just in his achievements but in the way he paved the way for future fighters in the lighter weight divisions. His punching power and speed made him a feared opponent, and he was beloved by fans in the UK and beyond. Wilde's success demonstrated that British fighters could dominate across weight classes, helping establish the UK as a major force in global boxing. His contribution to the flyweight division remains unmatched, and he remains a key figure in the history of British boxing. Lloyd Honeyghan, the Destroyer. Lloyd Honeyghan was one of Britain's most talented and ferocious boxers of the 1980s. Born in 1960 in Jamaica and raised in the UK, Honeyghan's career reached its pinnacle in 1986 when he shocked the world by defeating Donald Curry to claim the WBC welterweight title. Known for his power, speed, and relentless attack, Honeyghan was a fighter who thrived on big stage performances. His victory over Curry is considered one of the greatest upsets in boxing history. Honeyghan successfully defended his title against the likes of Jorge Vaca and later moved up in weight, but his career was ultimately marred by personal issues and a lack of consistent performances. Honeyghan began his boxing career in the UK, rising through the ranks before his sensational win over Curry. After his championship reign, however, his career became inconsistent, and he eventually retired from the sport in 1994. Despite the ups and downs, Honeyghan remains one of the most respected names in British boxing. Memorable moment: shocking Donald Curry to win the WBC welterweight title. Lloyd Honeyghan's most memorable moment came in 1986 when he pulled off one of the biggest upsets in boxing history by defeating the undefeated and highly regarded Donald Curry to win the WBC welterweight title. Honeyghan's aggressive, all-out attacking style overwhelmed Curry, earning him a unanimous decision and the World Championship. The victory was a huge surprise, as Curry was considered one of the best pound-for-pound boxers at the time. Honeyghan's rise to the top remains one of British boxing's greatest underdog stories. Role in British boxing history: Lloyd Honeyghan's shocking victory over the previously undefeated Donald Curry in 1986 was one of the most remarkable upsets in boxing history, and it helped to firmly establish British boxing on the international stage. Honeyghan became the WBC welterweight champion and, in doing so, proved that British boxers could compete at the highest levels globally. His aggressive, fast-paced style made him a fan favorite, and his triumph over Curry served as a catalyst for British fighters to target world titles in the upper weight classes. Honeyghan's success helped elevate the profile of British boxing in the 1980s and inspired future generations of fighters to aim for global recognition. Randolph Turpin, Britain's middleweight king. Randolph Turpin made history in 1951 when he defeated the legendary Sugar Ray Robinson to claim the world middleweight title. Hailing from Leamington Spa, England, Turpin's victory over Robinson was one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Known for his powerful jab, solid defense, and unrelenting pressure, Turpin became a national hero in Britain. Although his reign as middleweight champion was short-lived, Turpin's victory over Robinson ensured his place among the sport's greats. He would later suffer defeats and personal struggles, but his triumph over one of the greatest boxers of all time remains a landmark achievement in British boxing history. Before his world championship win, Turpin was a determined, tough middleweight contender. After his loss to Robinson in a rematch, Turpin's career took a downward turn. He eventually passed away in 1966, but his incredible upset over Robinson continues to inspire British fighters to this day. Memorable moment: defeating Sugar Ray Robinson to win the world middleweight title. Randolph Turpin's most iconic moment came in 1951 when he defeated the legendary Sugar Ray Robinson to claim the world middleweight title in front of a packed crowd in London. This was one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, as Robinson was considered one of the greatest boxers of all time. Turpin's victory over Robinson not only made him a national hero in the UK but also established him as a major force in the middleweight division. Though Turpin would lose the title back to Robinson in a rematch, his triumph over the Sugar Man remains a highlight in boxing history. Role in British boxing history: Randolph Turpin's victory over Sugar Ray Robinson in 1951 is one of the defining moments in British boxing history. By defeating Robinson, one of the greatest boxers of all time, Turpin not only became a world middleweight champion but also demonstrated that British fighters could overcome the best in the world. Turpin's achievement gave the UK its first middleweight champion and showcased the rising talent in British boxing. Although his reign was short-lived, Turpin's victory over Robinson remains one of the most significant upsets in boxing history, solidifying his place in British boxing's legacy. Don Cockell. Heavyweight resilience. Don Cockell was a resilient heavyweight boxer from London who competed at the highest level during the 1940s and 1950s. Although not a world champion, Cockell fought some of the best heavyweights of his time, including a notable fight against Rocky Marciano in 1955 for the world heavyweight title. Known for his toughness and ability to take punishment, Cockell became a respected figure in the sport, earning the nickname, the Fighting Cock. Memorable moment: challenge. Role in British boxing history: Don Cockell, though not a world champion, played an important role in British heavyweight boxing. Cockell's challenge for the heavyweight title against Rocky Marciano in 1955 is one of the most memorable moments in British boxing history, despite the fact that he was defeated in the 9th round. His resilience and determination in taking on one of the greatest heavyweights in history earned him respect in the boxing world. Cockell's courage and toughness inspired many British fighters, and he is remembered as one of the key figures of his era in the heavyweight division. Bob Fitzsimmons, the first three-division champion. Bob Fitzsimmons was one of boxing's most accomplished and influential fighters. Born in 1863 in England, Fitzsimmons became the first boxer to win world championships in three different weight divisions: middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. His knockout power, particularly in the middleweight division, was legendary, and he remains one of the sport's early pioneers. Fitzsimmons was known for his devastating right hand, which earned him the nickname, the Freckled Wonder. His ability to dominate across multiple weight classes set a standard for versatility in boxing that would be emulated by future generations. Memorable moment: becoming the first three-division champion. Bob Fitzsimmons made history by becoming the first fighter to win world championships in three different weight divisions: middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. His most famous moment came in 1903 when he knocked out Jack "Nonpareil" Dempsey to win the world middleweight title. Fitzsimmons' devastating right hand earned him a reputation as one of the hardest hitters in boxing history. His win over James J. Corbett to claim the heavyweight title in 1903 remains one of the most iconic moments in the sport, marking him as a pioneer in boxing's early history. Fitzsimmons' achievements and his innovative approach to boxing laid the foundation for future generations of boxers. Role in British boxing history. Bob Fitzsimmons is one of the early pioneers of British boxing and an icon whose legacy transcends generations. His status as the first three-weight world champion, winning titles in the middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight divisions, has cemented his place in the annals of boxing history. Fitzsimmons' extraordinary power, especially his famous right hand, earned him a reputation as one of the most dangerous punchers of his time. His victory over Jack "Nonpareil" Dempsey to win the world middleweight title in 1903 and his heavyweight championship win against James J. Corbett made him a trailblazer for British boxers. Fitzsimmons' legacy influenced countless fighters who followed in his footsteps, and he remains a key figure in the history of British boxing. These 8 legendary boxers: Benny Lynch, Naseem Hamed, Jim Watt, Jimmy Wilde, Lloyd Honeyghan, Randolph Turpin, Don Cockell, and Bob Fitzsimmons, helped shape boxing into the spectacle it is today. Their dedication, talent, and achievements have inspired countless fighters across generations, ensuring that their names will never be forgotten. From the humble beginnings to the grand stages of championship bouts, each boxer has left a unique mark on the sport, shaping its history for the better. Each of these 8 boxers had their unforgettable moments that have made them immortal in the sport of boxing. Whether it was Benny Lynch's reign as flyweight champion, Naseem Hamed's electrifying style, or Jimmy Wilde's groundbreaking achievements, they all contributed to the legacy of boxing in their own unique ways. From stunning upsets to dominant title defenses, these moments will forever be remembered by fans, keeping the legacies of these legendary fighters alive for future generations. Each of these 8 boxers has played an essential role in shaping British boxing and elevating the sport to its current status. Whether through landmark victories, their unique boxing styles, or their ability to transcend national boundaries, these fighters have left an indelible mark on the sport. They not only achieved personal glory but also inspired future generations of British boxers, proving that talent and determination can take British fighters to the highest levels of competition. Their contributions have made British boxing a respected and influential force on the global stage.